Alright, one more Hearthstone video for the day because it brings us to an even 90 in the series, and because we've been doing 2 a day for a while, so why not? If you haven't checked out the other video for Hearthstone for the day, and you're interested in like channel updates and that kind of stuff, I talked more about what the future looks like there, so go check it out. Plus it's kind of an interesting hunter deck. So yeah, this is the deck that was everyone's least favorite for about 3 months last year. Now, it's still a good deck, but to be honest, it's been kind of superseded by better control and more aggressive decks that are currently occupying the kind of top spots on some of the tier lists you see out there. So what is this about? Well, it's about, as Dana and I would say, larger and larger men. All the Jade stuff, if you haven't seen it by now, they've been out for months. We were even playing some Jade variants back in the earlier part of the series back in May when we last recorded. But yeah, every time you summon a Jade thing, a golem, it's a 1-1, then a 2-2, then a 3-3, and a blah blah blah. So what are the tricks here? We are ramp in the beginning, trying to get to 10 mana as quickly as possible because of this card. One of the most broken from the last set, not the most recent. Ultimate Infestation, 10 mana, deal 5 damage, draw 5 cards, gain 5 armor, summon a 5/5 ghoul. Now, the reason this works so well in this deck, although it works well in pretty much any deck that's not aggro Druid, is because drawing cards lets you basically pair it with this in the endgame. You play one of these as the first option, and then you play a second one as the second option, shuffle copies of it in your deck, and then in the endgame, with this and also the second option from Nourish, if you haven't used it to ramp, you can just be drawing a lot of cards, which lets you very quickly summon even bigger Jades at the end of the game. And you can get to your end game quickly because of all the ramp you have. We have 2 Wild Growths to ramp. We have 2 Jade Blossoms. I'm running, I guess, I was going to say, like, sort of not necessarily these Mire Keepers. There's a new 3-1 for 3 with a Death Rattle that gets you an empty mana crystal. That would probably be a better fit, to be honest, and maybe I'll just do that if I have it. Do I have it? I do not appear. There it is, the Greedy Sprite. I should probably just do that because Mire Keepers, I find, don't really work great here anyways. Reason being, so like in our opening hand, we're always keeping Wild Growth, which for 2 mana, you play it on turn 2, gives you extra mana crystal, takes you to 4. But if you have the coin, you can get it out earlier. We also have this for 3 mana. Extra mana crystal. You play it on turn 3. You have 5 mana the next turn, which means you'd rather Nourish. So 4 ends up being kind of an awkward mana cost. So I'd rather have another option for 3. Plus, we're building a board that way. I know the Mire Keeper gives you the 2 minion option at the end if you've already ramped enough, but I think I like this better, to be perfectly honest. Plus, it makes our curve a little bit more smooth. We were a little 4-heavy before, so... In any case, look, I'm changing the deck on the fly. But the goal is to ramp. Jade Blossom, Greedy Sprite, Wild Growth, and Nourish. We'll be as greedy as possible with those. And then everything else is Jades. 2 Jade Spirits to summon Jades. 2 Jade Blossoms for ramp and Jades. 2 Jade Idols for the reasons mentioned before. And Aya Blackpaw, because she's great. And 2 Jade Behemoths. We have lots of Jade options. And then from there, it's just about surrounding them with great cards. We have 2 Swipes, because Swipe's good. We have 2 Crypt Lords to kind of slow down aggro matchups, because we can summon minions pretty quickly in a variety of ways to make this bulky and tough to deal with. 2 Earthen Scales to delay. Giving +1/+1's nice. We can often stack that on, say, a 6/6 or 7/7 Jade and get a bunch of armor for it, as well as making its stats slightly better. I just accidentally clicked it because I hit my hand against my leg. Top tier gameplay is why you come to this channel. 2 Rats because they're good. Fandral because he's good. He doesn't do a ton in this deck. It's basically just Wrath, Jade Idol, and Nourish. And Nourish doesn't frequently come into play with this, although it can on some turn 9s and some other stuff. No. Stop clicking. Get my finger off the button. And then from there, Bone Mare because it might be the best card from that set. It's just super good, and we're almost always going to have minions on the board, and if not, we can always summon more. A Primordial Drake, just because I think it's, again, a pretty good anti-aggro card. It's the last thing that can kind of make them run out of steam on turn 8. And remember, you think of 8 mana as turn 8, but for this deck, it's really more like turn 5 or turn 6 in almost all cases. And a Lich King, which is probably my least favorite card in the deck outside of Mire Keeper. It doesn't ever seem to help a ton. But it's a big old taunt, and it's not bad, so whatever. Let's fire it up. Keep in mind, as always, the disclaimer for when we do these videos, we sit down at rank 20 because we don't have all the cards because we're not a whale. I actually have a decent collection of legendaries, but it's mostly because of playing for a long time. I am a free-to-play player. I have bought, I think, 2 of the adventures back in the day when they provided you with guaranteed cards, which was nice, and we missed that quite a bit. We could talk about the greater state of the game. It's gotten more expensive than ever before. The dust economy is terrible, and magnified how terrible it is with more sets coming out with more legendaries that you need to create top decks. Jade Spirits is always kind of an iffy one. In this case, I'm actually going to keep it, and here's why. This is a bot we're playing against. Notice the combination of letters and numbers. You see these more at the lower ranks than the higher ones because they don't have decks good enough to climb the ladder all that effectively. So this deck is going to play sturdy minions for cost without effects. It's going to have like Chillwind Yetis. It's going to have like Stormwind Champion. Some early game stuff, maybe a Acidic Swamp Ooze, or the 2/3 Beast, the River Crocolisk, stuff like that. The 2/1 that summons a 1/1, that's the kind of stuff we're going to see here. Bloodfen Raptor, all this makes sense to me. We ramp. So yeah, these are just bots that are seemingly here to grind out enough wins to get gold on the side. Because they certainly can't advance with the cards they have. Anyways, Hearthstone's in a weird place right now. It's still good. Wow, it's right in there. I didn't think the bot was going to be capable of such play. I don't even think I necessarily care about clearing the board, TBH. I think it's just funny if we do this, and we do this, and honestly, even though it's weird, this. I know that looks like a weird play, but notice how the targeting happens and stuff? Like, there's always a very mechanical way it plays. It cycles through cards in its hand in a predictable manner, kind of looking at stuff before it plays. It's all, like, very patterned. So, I mean, the game is still great. I like the game. It's a very accessible card game. It's fun. I don't have a lot in the way of complaints about it. But it definitely has issues. There's no question about that. And among those issues... what do we have happening here? What was that? Among those issues is just the economy of the game, the fact that it costs more than ever. There's more sets coming out with more cards. It feels bad, even if you are the type to buy a bunch of packs, to buy, say... I don't even know how many packs. Let's say... I don't know. I'm thinking. I can't multitask. That could have been wrong. We could have set up... no, this is fine. It feels bad to open 50 packs, get like 1 or maybe 2 legendaries out of 18 in a set. Maybe get a few epics and be like, I opened 50 packs and what can I build? I can't build any decks I want to build. I guess either way we couldn't have had 10 mana this turn, so this was going to be awkward no matter what. There's no reason to play this at all, so we just hit face and anticipate that we're going to ultimate infestation this next turn. Although it may not work that way, we'll see. So, I mean, for all its issues, there's a lot that Hearthstone does right. And this is kind of true of a lot of Blizzard games. Overall, they're very polished and fun experiences with some fatal flaws generally. This is absolutely happening. And Mortal Coil. One would assume. There it is. The bots do make dumb mistakes sometimes, so everything's possible. They're usually not this trade focused. Usually they hit face when they shouldn't. Alright, so it's about time to start going nuts. I'm certainly doing this. And I think with our remaining 2 mana, I think I like this best, just to set up next turn better. Unless they need the hero power. Ah, that's a good one. This should be just about over.
The frost wolves stand ready.
I mean, sure. Okay. Dude's hanging in there. I think it's best just to get this out.
Girl's best friend.
And we will actually do this. It's a little early for that, but at the same time, we've got Jade's big enough that I don't really care if I draw into one. It's still a good play. And we have Nourish to draw, so we're not worried about getting low on cards in our hand.
For nausea time.
Who dares summon me?
I mean, on the one hand, those were all decent plays. On the other, you just set up Ether, so... Bye. Granted, we already had it with the 11 on board plus hero power, but still. It was greedy trying to keep that minion alive. That was the biggest problem. Let's do one more. Once again, pretty quick. So I got a pretty good... The Death Knight minions / class heroes, whatever, interested me. I have almost all of those. What am I missing? Let's see, I've got Shaman. I actually don't know if I have Malfurion. Come to think of it, I think he'd be in this deck if I did, so I don't think I do. I don't think I have Rogue, I don't think I have Druid. Yeah, let's go for Oliver Ramp. I don't like any of those that much. Another bot, by the way. We're going double bot for this video. Wow. What an answer. I don't think I have Paladin. Maybe I don't have that many of them. I have the ones I care about. That much I know for sure. So I have Mage. I have Shaman because of all was pretty fun until this expansion where it's semi-ruined. Although Unstable Evolution, the new 1 mana card that lets you cast it repeatedly, is at least interesting. What else? I actually pulled the Warrior one. I didn't craft it. I did it like twice. It's okay. I just don't know that any of the decks it can make are all that good. I have the Hunter one, as we saw. Had to make it. So yeah, some of those were interesting. This expansion, I have, God, 1, I think 2 now, of the legendary weapons. Yeesh. I think I need to do this anyways.
For the wild.
This is a bad draw. I think I've pulled a second legendary weapon, but I only have 2 of the 9, and one of those was provided when the set dropped. What else? I don't know. I have like a recruit warrior deck I'm trying to make work because I have quite a few of those legendaries, even though I don't think that deck is great. So it's a struggle. Look at this draw. We're still not in terrible shape, but we could certainly be in better. Next turn, I think we need to Nourish for mana, unless we draw something spectacular. That 2/3 is going to be a problem. I mean, we could Nourish next turn. Okay, I think I know the play. Let's see if he plays any other minions first. That's stuff with 2 health.
It's time for a little blood.
Alright. I'm going to take some pain here. But we don't have much of a choice. I know this is going to look weird, but I think this is how I have to do it. We're going to hurt. So we do have Earthen Scales in hand. I mean, we take 10 damage here, which sucks, at least. But you can see what I'm doing with that, and that's setting up Primordial Drake. We don't want the Drake to just get killed by a poisonous minion as soon as it drops. Play other low health stuff. The Berserker is a little annoying. That hurts, but we can also kill it. 4 mana left. Don't Blessing of Kings. I mean, yuck, but not too bad. So he's going to be able to kill our Drake, but we can clear off 5 of his minions. And hopefully stay alive. Nine health is a little troubling. But if he just trades these 2 minions into our Drake, I think we're in good shape. We don't really have a great play for next turn.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Oh boy. So the play I'm considering, because it's much more interesting if I talk than just sit here as you guys stare at the screen, is just playing out a raw Bone Mare and Earth and Scaling it. Just to put us out of any danger. We know we win this game in the long haul. We don't want to lose it in the short term. I could draw with Nourish. Problem is, like, I only have 4 mana left after that. I have not built my Jades at all. Could also just play these 2 dudes out. Neither one of them's going to live, though, so I still won't have a Bone Mare target. Huh. I think... Yeah. I do one of these, to be honest.
For the wild.
Let's do it that way. Hope we don't regret that decision. He can't... I mean, he could, like, Consecrate or something, which would be a little gross, but... We had 14 effective health now.
Justice.
Oh, yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. Now going face is great for us. You get out. You get out. Let's draw. I've thought about hero powering for the health, but we have 9. We need to get some of these better cards in our hand. Ultimate Infestation is obviously one of the things that solves this situation. We don't have a lot of cards in hand, but as soon as we draw one of those, now that we're at 10 mana, we are in business. Plus the 5 armor.
I've got a huge guy.
Alright. We need better answers in our hand now. Do I want to do it this way? Yes.
For the wild.
I don't want to take any more damage. So we'll do it that way. Okay, 8 health. That's fine.
For Najata.
Najata. Alright, I think we're safe now. Because we're just going to do this, this. On the one hand, it's like, oh boy, you managed to overcome the bot. On the other hand, we had a pretty terrible draw. And we weathered the storm, and we're going to be okay. We can take care of that. So it's going to hurt. That is completely stupid. Let's just call it what it is. Because we're just going to do this.
For the wild.
And this is pretty much over.
Reporting for duty.
And? I mean, you know we're going to Earth and Kills that Lich King. Please don't hit it. Okay, good. Phew. So we're certainly doing this, just to make sure we're completely safe. And then, I mean, yeah, let's see what we get, even though it probably won't be that good. Nope. We can do this to draw. Put up a taunt, safe.
The scourge will devour.
Always want hero power to make sure our health goes up. And, yeah. Excuse me, that is a valid target. Excuse me. I think we have concede incoming. We do have lethal on board.
Reporting for duty.
With the hero power. Also swipe, also ultimate infestation. Let's see. Is that enough to save him? I think it actually might be. Got 13, 17, 18 damage. No, he's not. Never mind, I didn't actually see what we pulled from that. Not bad. My bad. There was an easy lethal. I didn't go look for it. So yeah, there's some Hearthstone. The game has changed quite a bit since we last had any videos in May. I'm not even showcasing some of the newest new stuff. Both of those decks I played today were both kind of like remnants of last time that have picked up a trick or two from the most recent expansion. But I don't have a lot of the cards from the new ones, so I don't have very many options there. It's only been out for a month, which isn't a lot of time for us free-to-play folks. Oh, hey, we have a pack to get. Let's do that too. Everything is either mega aggro or mega control right now. There's not a lot of room for mage decks. They do exist as a mage variant that works pretty well, but super aggro Druid is way up there. Pirates are always in there because they can't help themselves. The Keliseth Rogue reigns supreme. Oh, the Sleepy Dragon. Diremole, which I like quite a bit, even though she's a basic bitch. Windshear Stormcaller. I'm not sure if there's been many decks that have effectively managed to use this. There are things that let you control which totems you summon now and some other stuff, but yeah. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching our videos. Keep in mind, once again, next Monday, Trails of Cold Steel 2 starts, and probably a second video of some kind in the late afternoon like we've been doing. Thank you for watching as always. Thank you for subscribing. Those are up recently. And we'll see you next time.